Hi everybody, welcome to Talk-ohhh-Challenge. My name is Sarah and I'm the artist behind Pinselgeschichten. And on this series, every week I do kind of challenge myself. This is always a surprise painting for me that I do. This is in no way planned ahead. So every other week I take a word from a word generator and then I do take you through the thought process of what I could paint with it. What kind of medium, what kind of position, what topic, what scenery, all that kind of stuff. The respective other week, which is today, I'm taking a background that somebody made for me and I do make a painting with it. Sometimes those backgrounds are quite abstract and sometimes they are like this week, they're kind of putting me pushing me rather into a way to do a painting with it. So this particular background here was done by my friend Tina and she made it with a cardboard piece that I do have in my studio. If you know me for a while, you know that I do sometimes use cardboard pieces from delivery boxes or whatever to paint on them. Just a very cheap recycle kind of surface. And she had it primed with an acrylic color in the background, or it was already primed, could be too. And then she took different kinds of pieces of a calendar that had photos on them. I think it was just one calendar, or was it more than one? I don't know, I don't remember. You will see it in the footage right after I stop talking about that section. So she took different kinds of pieces of that calendar and collaged this piece together and had it framed with acrylic spray paint, and I'm going to insert the video how it came together, her part of the artwork, right about now. So you just saw how she did what you can see here, and now my challenge is to do something with it, to make an art piece with it. Now, since it has a direction already, things that I do with other backgrounds, like turning it every direction, seeing what kinds of pattern of stuff I see with a more abstract kind of backgrounds, this is not gonna happen here because if I'm to use the background, I'm bound to use it the right side up, which is this direction. Also, if I don't want to paint something totally different on it, I'm kind of limited of what I could do because these are sceneries, buildings, a street, trees, people, all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of limited there. So instead of having something where I have to use my imagination and do something with a painting, this is rather more the reverse kind of thing here. I'm bound to do something with that piece and it puts me onto a path already, which is just as challenging, let me tell you. So what am I gonna do with it? Well, I do like the different kinds of angles the buildings are in, and I could very simply just paint over them, like have a kind of a monochrome scene rather than having the blue peek through different kinds of sepia and the black. And I think that would actually work really nicely if I have some kind of a color, different kind of color thing on the page that is either a gimmick or draws the eye to that thing, whatever it's gonna be. I think I could work with that idea really nicely. Other than that, I'm not actually sure if I can do anything really different from the first idea, like just maybe simplifying the piece with colors like light and dark blue maybe, or green or orange or whatever color I'm gonna choose, and just simplify the buildings. But I think if I go down that road, I would repair the church up here, like have it go all the way down to that roof here and get rid of that whole section here. Because the one thing that is missing right now is a sky. So it's rather a piece of a painting or a macro shot of a painting or a scenery, and not really a grounded scenery, because I don't have any sky and I hardly have any ground that is on the right angle. I mean, I do have ground here and here, but the angle is not correct. So assuming I'd stay with the church and the whole lower section of the painting and just have it quote unquote simplify by coloring it or painting over it using the shapes, but changing them only the slightest bit or enhancing contrast or depth by using monochrome colors and while creating a kind of a scenery that might be from a children's book, or I don't know, a rather loose kind of painting. You know what I guess you can kind of know where I'm going at. I don't know. I will try to explain it better. But I would get rid of the whole section up here and maybe incorporate a sky here. So that this would be a scenery of a town or a village or whatever. That is maybe not correct with the angles and perspective, but could compel or balance that out by the use of color and the style, just to make sure right away this is not supposed to be photorealistic. And then maybe incorporate a sky or something here and have, I think, the gimmick section either up here on the marketplace or have it up here in the sky. I think that would be doable and I think a kind of nice thing to do with that collage. Because other than that, I would really just cover over it, quote unquote, ruin it, or you couldn't see anything of the work that was done before and do something very different. And I kind of shy away from that because I value the work that was done to provide the background very much. So I want to have as much of the background showing through as I can. So yeah, which also kind of limits me again because, you know, I could just go over it with semi-opaque colors and do a totally different kind of motive or theme on top, but I don't want to because I want to have the work of the other artists show through, you know? So let's say I go with the coloring, the buildings, kind of monochrome kind of look, and have a gimmick somewhere in here. Again, I would probably put it here or up in this soon to be, I guess, sky. It would be a sky scene. What would I put in? Well, it would be kind of funny to cover up the people down here, have no people, but have maybe just a single lost, mysterious, I don't know, just a balloon maybe would be kind of simple, but the eye catcher and kind of a gimmick. Could be one of my stick figures floating on a balloon. If you're not familiar with my stick figures, in very many paintings, mostly acrylic paintings, I do hide stick figures that do something goofy. So I could do that with this piece. Then the sky would actually work nicely, just to see that stick figure float over the city. I kind of like that idea. That would be goofy. That would be funny. Yeah. So the question would be, what colors would I use? I could go with the sepia tone that's on the photos. And then I have maybe a blue or a purple or a very bright green or something as the contrast for the balloon. Or I could go with blue, because there's blue peeking through here, and I kind of like that. I could use different kinds of blue. And I have maybe an orange, a yellow, or a red balloon or something floating over that city or village or whatever it is, and get rid a tiny bit of that black frame. Or I would have it just really dark at the end. I don't know. I'm unsure about the frame, because I kind of like it for some reasons and I don't like it for other reasons. Now, it narrows the painting quite a bit. It's almost like a frame or a lens that is put on. Like you see it through a camera or whatever, and not like in real life. Then you wouldn't probably have a frame. You would see the edges. You would, if you turn your head only the slightest bit to the right and left, you would see other things that are just out of frame, so to say, right now. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep the frame. Maybe I'm just slightly darkening the painting towards the edges, like using brighter and lighter, let's say, blues in the center, and have darker blues on the edge. That could be something. Yeah, so I would just pretty much use this as a guideline and color over the paintings rather than coming up the photos, rather than coming up with a new painting, just adding a tiny gimmick to it. So I think that would be something that I can do with this background and not destroying the whole layout of it. So I will go ahead. I will do it. I kind of like the idea of using blue. So I'm just gonna go with blue and have the balloon either be up here in that section with a floating, sure, yet. I think once I do have the blue layer done, it will be easier for me to figure out where to put the balloon with the stick figure. Because it very, very likely the painting will look calmer and more quiet, because I will get rid of a lot of details that are in the photos right now, because I will probably not have them in the final painting. So then I can decide where the right place is to put the gimmick in. So I will just go ahead and paint it, and then I will come back and tell you a bit about what worked, what did not work, what was maybe challenging, what was rather simple to do, and if this is kind of like what I imagine it to be in the end. So stay tuned. I will have the time-lapse clip inserted right about now, and then I'll come back in a few seconds. There you have it. This is my painting, and I'm calling it Santa's Coming to Town. So I just came up with that name because the whole blue scenery here looks like a winter night to me. It looks like a night scene for the dark blue colors. And I used the white more in the foreground here, which could be snow. And with the red balloon and Christmas coming up, well, go figure, it just fits, I think. It's kind of funny because it's not the reindeer and sleigh and whatnot, but it's more a stick figure on a balloon, so I think it's kind of funny to call it that. Now for the painting itself, I did use only 3 blues, so it's a very dark blue, medium blue, and a turquoise blue. And then I used a mixing white and this very, very great warm red here. And that's all I used for the whole painting. Now, mixing white is pretty cool, and I just was about to speak German. It's pretty cool because it lightens up the color, but it doesn't dull it down like Titan white or other whites do. So I was able to have different kinds of tones. It stays white if you really apply a lot, but it mixes nicely with the other colors just to make like slight highlights or whatever, or differences in color, I should say. So yeah, that's all I used, and painting the buildings was rather fast, was rather simple. I didn't add a lot of details that were in the photos, so it was even quicker and easier to paint. I didn't have to take care of all the tiny details. However, it was kind of difficult to get the color to stick on this glossy paper that the calendar originally was printed on. So I had to use a lot of paint to cover that up, and especially down here where I only used the mixing white, you can kind of see that there's another color underneath. So I don't mind, because I think it adds something to the scenery. It gives it a bit of a rustic character, and again, I don't mind with the brush strokes that I use that are quite loose and not really detailed and fine lines and all of that. It actually works. Would I have had another painting on top though, where I would have used way more detail and finer lines and not really dabbing the color on there like on these trees here, I would have had a problem. I would have had to, well, have maybe a primer layer underneath, really painting with the colors that I wanted to paint with, just to have them stick to the paper. But like that, with that particular style here, it worked out nicely enough. And I kind of like it. It's a sweet scene. It's a winter scene. It could be a Christmassy scene just by naming it what I named it. And if I used other colors, it would have been maybe a spring scene or just a very bright scene. But like that, I think it's a nice night scene. So yeah, there you have it. This is my painting. I hope you enjoyed watching along. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comment section below. And I would love for you to tune in next Thursday when I take another word from the word generator and make another painting. Now, if you can't wait to see what else my crazy mind comes up with, tune in tomorrow for another random art painting. Friday is always a random art piece. It's not a series like Monday, Tuesday, or other days on the channel. It's more like I do feel like painting something and I do it, and then I have a blog post and a video and all of that jazz on the Fridays. So tune in there, and then on Sunday I will have my weekly review vlog where I'm having a bit of well, a talk about what will happen end of December. I will take a week off and not have videos, and other teasers will come up and a bit more information about what's going on. But stay tuned for that on Saturday. And again, thanks a lot for watching. Have fun. Maybe you got some time to paint or create something. That would be awesome. And I will see you very, very soon. Take good care. Bye.